Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red.
They're going to come up towards the water, up and over the bridge. And that first kicker, will it do the damage to Category 2 that we've seen it do to Category 3 and 4? 25.8 kilometres into this race. They're working their way through the Category 4 race field. Just 8 riders now in Category 4 still ahead of them.
At the moment, Category 4 are still our leaders on the road. They've just hit 34 kilometres. They are still about 350 metres in front of the chasing group, which is Category 3 leaders and the Category 4 chasers. The Category 4 rider is making her way to the line. Mabini's coming and Mabini's kicking on. Can she close it down? She's going to appear very quickly on our screens, but it's looking good for Hyde. Hyde is coming and the gap is down. De Silva's gone over the top. De Silva could get this. De Silva may well have this.
Lam Kong kicks. Lam Kong opens up the sprint. She opens up the sprint, really, and she pushes on. Can Carolus do anything about this? I don't think so. This is going to be Lam Kong. She's opened up the sprint first. She's come over the top of Carolus. Lam Kong takes the win in Category 2. Bruni is responding. Can she come up and over the top of Mina Koivunen, or can Mina Koivunen hold this? Koivunen runs to the finish. Bruni comes over the top. I think Bruni's going to take this from Mina Koivunen, but it's allowed Perry to come back through. Siciliano Silvestro is the rider in 3, but she's not fighting it out with Hyde and Perry. The finish line is there. The UCI banner is Hyde, is Perry. It's Hyde who's going to take this from Perry. Perry comes through. She comes up and over the line. That UCI banner signifying the finish of the race. Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is April 2024 and we are here for qualifier number 1. Well, we are here, just me at the moment. My name is Emma Martin and I'm going to be bringing you all of the action until Matt Payne joins us, currently live with the end of the men's race, but he will be joining us once that is complete. But don't go anywhere because we have a phenomenal race for you today. The women, well, they're heading to Colombia to the Paso Alto, 35 kilometers of racing, 537 meters of climbing, and it's pretty flat for the first 21.9 kilometers with just the bridges and 5 sprints overall, 4 of those until we get to the first climb. That's the Medellin City climb, 5.5 kilometers, 5.9% the average gradient. That is the steep one. It's categorized as a Category 2 climb. Then we transition. The Amazon rainforest sprint is towards the back end of the transition section, and then at 31 kilometers, the final climb, the Bogota climb, well, that is 3.5 kilometers in length with an average gradient of 2.9%. And very often we will see a sprint finish on this course. So really looking forward to that. Well, our 4 categories of riders, Category 1, Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4, all down in the start pen, ready and awaiting to go. And it's going to be Category 4 who are going to be our first group away. Petit Four, the team on the line today, Hyde, Lloyd and Francis. Now a strong team, always in competition, in the team competition for Category 4, finishing in 2nd place last week in the March final. But they've got some real competition today. 33 riders on the start sheets in Category 4 and some new riders in there as well. So welcome to the likes of Lisa Hopkins, who's joining us for the first time. She's down in that start pen. with everybody else. Al Mansouri is back today, so is Madeira. Sarasuk is here, Ferron is here, Silvestro and Perry, who took the 1-2 last week. Elos is here, Bogrin, Lenore, Barco. Really strong riders in the mix. This is going to be good. Away go Category 4 for the first qualifier on the Sunday Race Club in April. 33 riders up and out of the start pen. We're in with Katie Baggett at the moment, pushing on hard out of the start. The riders moving fast and furious, already up to 40 kilometers an hour on what is a very, very fast start in Colombia. Now, riding on MyWhoosh, there is a message function, and I have been on there chatting with some of our riders. Now, I understand from one of our riders when we were chatting about what is your favourite Sunday race club course, Colombia, well, that came into play because the first 22 kilometres of this race course, they were named the favourite, but not just 22 kilometres a day, 35 kilometres. You can't get away without racing the back end of this course today, the Medellin City climb and the Bogota climb. It's that categorised 4 climb that the checker flag is at the top of today. Now, Perry took the win from Silvestro last week in the March final, but it was the February final when we were here last, and it was Hyde from Elos who took the 1-2 then. But only 30 seconds separated the top 4 riders in Category 4. So looking forward to some really close racing today. Well, Musa Al Mansouri has come straight to the front of this pack, and the damage has already been done. We're only 1 kilometre into this race today, but already 4 groups on the road. Bryson here moving up. Isabella Bryson, another one of our new riders here, coming into the mix today, moving forward to the front of this group. And you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, multiple red dots indicating multiple groups of riders on the road. It's looking like we've got around 12, 13, 14, 15 riders in this leading group at the moment. In fact, it must be closer to 20. So 18 riders confirmed in this leading group in Category 4. Early time for a split here. We're just 1.5 kilometres into this race. And it's been a flat 1.5 kilometres. Now that tells me the warm-up and the start absolutely key here in terms of racing. Bryson is here, Alvarez, Hyde, Lloyd, Nicky Lloyd coming back into some form after a few weeks away from the Sunday Race Club. Kirchner is here, so is Hamilton. All of these riders in the mix. Adriana Barco here too. So great to see these riders on the Sunday Race Club pushing hard and, creating the action really early here. Leading group of 18 riders in Category 4, now settled down to a much more comfortable pace. We're in with Kristen Hamilton at the moment, and you can see for viewers joining us on the Sunday Race Club, let's take a quick run around the screen because Manuela Vasquez is the rider we are in with at the moment. You can see that she's highlighted in blue on the right-hand side. That means her stats are the ones that you can see in the middle at the top of your screen. So 150 watts in green at the moment because she's in the draft. That number will change to white when she isn't. The time elapsed. Her heart rate currently at 153 and her pedal revs or cadence currently sat at 84. So that data is specific to the rider, highlighted in blue at the side of the screen on the right-hand side. Down in the Category 3 start pen, it's Lucy Esdale that we are highlighting at the moment. You can see she's down in the pen with 50 seconds to go, a comfortable waiting heart rate of 116. Now, 31 riders on the start sheets today. The Level Maniacs team are the team to beat because they are the team in the mix today. But De Silva is here, Marin, Bremner, Vink is here, Sonnerson, Johanna Warren, Jackie Giuliano is here, Beltran, Idzik, Turkova, Kokkonen, and Rebecca Johnson, who took first place on this course in the February final here today. Well, let's see if she's got the legs to do the action on the Paso Alto again. We know she's a strong, strong climber, and well, this is the type of climb that really suits her. The countdown is on and away go category 3. Those blue jerseys are up and out of the start pen now for qualifier 1 here in April on the Sunday Race Club, swinging out onto the Paso Alto course in Colombia. It's a flat start and they are up to pace very, very quickly. 43 kilometers an hour in 100 meters. So a fast start from our riders at the moment. Beltran is there, so is Johnson and Herrero, Zabala, Kokkonen, all in the mix at the moment. Alzat and Barragan there too. Who's who is here and ready to go. Category 3, one big group out of the start pen. All of the riders in the mix here today. Bettina Pila is here, Turkova, Barrack, Hadlock is here, as well as Arrayas, Isabella Giraldo, Georgina Hyde, Sonnerson is here too. Really great to see these women. Now, the top 3 riders from the final last week in category 3. Congratulations to all of them because they have all progressed to category 2. So Lytton, Clift and Mabin, who pushed so hard last week in the Wollongong final and were so close on the finish, just 4 seconds separating the riders. Lytton 0.09 seconds ahead of Clift for the win, and then 4 seconds back to Mabin. So phenomenal riding from them last week, giving them a lift up to category 2 for today. So really looking forward to seeing what they can do in category 2. But it does indeed open up the top spots in category 3 and really convince or motivate some of our other riders to step forward onto that podium. Well, Katie Baggett at the moment is stepping forward up and over the bridges now. The bridges, the key component of the early part of this Colombian course. The Paso Alto bridges, look at that. That is exactly what these bridges do. And Carla Lenore knows that. She's pushed on here and she's continuing to push in the tail of the group. Well, what she's looking to do is to split the riders from the back of that group to whittle the group size down, not wanting to take a large group of riders into the climbs today because most of these riders know there's a high possibility of a tight finish on this course today, because if you are with the group at the top of the Medellin City climb, it's likely you will be there at the top of the Bogota climb when that checkered flag waves. Medellin City climb, the first to climb today, is the shorter one, so 3.5 kilometres, an average gradient of 5.9%, but the gradient does kick to around 9.5%, so there are some steep sections on that. The second climb, the steepest section is at 5%, which comes towards the end of the climb, but that average gradient just 2.9% on the final climb before the checkered flag today. So the issue is to do the damage before you get to the climbs, to take a smaller group in, and that's exactly what Musa Al-Mansouri, Ellen Bogren, Narvaez are all trying to do here. So good to see this group pushing on in category 4. 5.3 kilometres now of this course underway, but many riders off the back of that group now. Less riders off the back of the group in category 3 as we're in with Turkova. We can see 2.3 kilometres of this course now for category 3 complete, and a very flat and fast start, but much bigger group of category 3 riders there. Category 2 riders, well, they've not shed anybody yet because they are still in that start pen with just under a minute to go. Category 2. The Sunday crew are here for Category 2, finishing second last week in the final, 1 minute and 8 seconds behind the Velociraptors, who took the win, with Kong taking the first top spot in that race. Now, Lam Kong is indeed here today. Martinez and Corollas, the 2 Sunday crew members, are going to have their work cut out for them, because Embring is here, Svardstrom, Dana Davidson is back on the start sheets. Hannah Giannatti goes very well on this course. Jenny Daniel is on form. So is Julia Walkenhurst. Lam Kong, as we mentioned, is riding well. Tucanis is strong. Smithers, Weston, Vittori, London, Sanchez, Holweiler, Kasani. Well, I could keep going on, but Wendy McAlpine is here too, and she's been known to go well in Colombia. Away go Category 2. They are out and under the start pen, the UCI banner indicating the start of the Sunday Race Club. Out on to the course they go. Hopefully the next main UCI banner they'll see is the finish line, and they are all aspiring to be first under that finish line today. Lytton is in the mix here, and great to see Brittany Lytton coming up from Category 3. Amy Clift as well as Emily Mabbin. So 3 riders who have been performing really well in Category 3, now moving up to Category 2. It's going to be very interesting to see how they go today. But I'm expecting really good things of them, particularly on this course. It should suit them as one of the first courses for them undertake as they move up through the categories. So Lytton in here, McAlpine is there, Miller, Tucanis, Walkenhurst, Embring, London. This is a strong, strong group of riders. Tanya Holweiler just having a little bit of an issue at that start pen by the looks of it. She's just dropped off the pace a little bit. Now, that could have been a problem off the start line. It could have been a little bit of inattention. It could have been a number of things, but Holweiler just off the back of the group at the moment, around 10 seconds off the back. Ospina, Mabbin, Prado, all in the mix now. Jermaine Prado has been riding very, very strongly. She's fluctuating at the moment between Category 1 and Category 2. But in Category 2 today, she really is on that cusp at the moment, and it really does depend on the riders in the mix on the day as to where Prado lands, whether that's Category 2 or Category 1. But she is indeed a strong, strong rider. Now, the Category 2 pack safely out of the start pen, just Holweiler off the back of the group. Category 3, well, they've hit the bridges, and we all know what that means. That means it's time to attack off the front, and Angel Hadlock is the rider doing that. Bettina Peeler and Rosalina Barragan all up in the mix as well. Now, this bridge has stretched the group, and you can see that long tail on this Category 3 group at the moment. It's not done any permanent damage yet. All of the riders still in the line of blue, and I think they are all going to come back together again. But there are more bridges facing these riders, more opportunities to attack, and more opportunities to scrabble to stay part and parcel of the pack. While our Category 3 riders come up to the 5 kilometre mark, our Category 4 riders, well, they are on the wooden boardwalk. They are with the waterfall at the moment. And to be honest, they probably need a little bit of cooling off at the moment, because the pace has been fast and furious up and over this bridge. And look at the stretch on the group again. Riders such as Bryson Lloyd, Kirchner, all needing to hang on and dig on in here to stay with this group. We had that early split in Category 4. It very, very quickly split down to 18 riders in the leading group. But these bridges are really paying dividends for the front of this pack, because they are continuing to make this group smaller. They are continuing to do damage to the group. Well, 8.4 kilometres now into this race. This is the second sprint of the day. This is 200 metres, the Jungle Trek sprint for our Category 4 riders. And take a look at that. Musa Al-Mansouri, she is resplendent in the green skin suit, because she has picked up the points, the most points in Category 4, which gives her that green skin suit, telling everybody that she is the best sprinter at the moment today. Well, whilst Category 4 sprint it out amongst themselves, Category 1 are down in the start pen with 50 seconds to go. A number of teams on the start sheet, say A Block International are here with Hermansen, Holdcroft and Larsen. Effetto Skier, the team in second place in the final last week, Kalman, Bassoni, Columbi, Giovanni and Whitelaw. Then Nordic Spirit, Van Hoven, Engstrom, Risky Biscuits, the riders who took the top spot last week, Donny and Biarhead. Amongst the mix, though, 22 riders in total on the start sheets. Soderstrom is here, Sidlik, Bruni, Kolczynski, Fua, Menenzes, Velt, Gallegos, Gonzalez, Rua also here today. This is going to be a really good race today. Strong riders in Category 1. The legs are warm, and they are about to leave the start pen for qualifier number 1 in April. Amelia Velt is the rider we are in with at the moment, and she's part and parcel of this Category 1 pack as they swing out of the start pens and are very, very quickly up to pace. This is a very flat start. The pack rolls fast and it rolls very, very strongly. The only opportunity, as we've seen on the other categories, really is the early bridges in this course, which is causing some problems, particularly in Category 4. Category 1, I think we will see less damage done across those bridges than we are seeing in the earlier starting categories. Well, interesting. One rider just off the back of this group at the moment. So one of the Category 1 riders just having a little bit of a problem staying with the pace and staying with the group at the moment. But Gonzalez Rua tight into that group at the moment. Kolczynski is there. So is Holcroft, Kalman, Columbi, Velt, Soderstrom, all in the mix there. So good to see those all here. In fact, it's Vicky Whitelaw who is the rider off the back at the moment. That is the rider for the Effetto Skier squad who we were talking about earlier on, looking like Vicky Whitelaw riding around at a comfortable pace at the moment, stretching her legs on this early start. It's a very, very flat start today, and a number of our riders not always looking for that win on the Sunday race cup. The qualification is key. Riding for your team is also key, and the teams have different challenges, different motivations and different ideas of how they're going to ride each of the qualifiers and the final. But I'll tell you something, Julia Walkenhurst has nailed her colours to the mast in Category 2 at the moment. We said the bridges had split the groups in Category 4 and Category 3, but the damage is being done in Category 2 at the moment by Walkenhurst and Embring. Those two riders really pushing on, but McAlpine, Yaramillo, Svardstrom, Manuela, all pushing with the pack, all wanting to bring the riders back in. And you can see that concertina effect, the group quickly swallowing up the likes of Walkenhurst who had pushed on. Great to see Brittany Litton right in the middle of the group. Fantastic to see. But Mandy McAlpine, she's done well on this course before. And could this be a day for McAlpine again? Our Category 2 riders. There is indeed a split as they come up and over the next bridge. So the push, will it come from the front again? Will it try and ensure that that gap stays there rather than the rider come on? And they have indeed jumped up out of the saddles to push. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see the splits in Category 3 as well. Those bridges are doing damage there. So we've got one long group of Category 3 riders. We've got a couple of other Category 3 riders in danger at the moment. And that bottom left-hand side of the screen is really a great indicator for you to tell you what is happening in this race at the moment. So Category 3 riders taking the right-hand turn. You can see now the Category 4 riders up the road. That is the red dots on the path. We can see here the multiple dots of blue indicating the riders spread right down the road. In Category 2, we've got two groups of riders on the road at the moment, but still a large group of leaders in that Category 2 race. Category 1, you can see them. They've just taken the left-hand turn, coming up for 2.5 kilometres into the race. Well, Bassoni is pushing on at the moment, and Elise Gallegos is as well. They've got a small gap, just around 1 second, just stretching their legs off the front of the group. Well, Hermansen, Fua, Engstrom, Bruni and Kolczynski, they're not going to let them go. So the Amazonian sprint is the first sprint section on this course today. 5 sprint sections in total. A mix of 200 metres and 300 metres in length. And the first two that are the shorter distance at 6.3 kilometres is where the first sprint segment comes. So still some way for this category 1 group to go before they get to that first sprint section. And one of those riders picks up the green skin suit. Well, not waiting today. It's Kristen Kolczynski who's on the front here. She came and she rode on the qualifiers for the first time last month, not riding enough qualification rounds to join us in the final, but I think this month it's going to be different. She had a strong first ride with us. I'm just doing a double check, but I think she finished in 3rd position. She did indeed in Belgium for qualifier 4. It was Fua, Bruni, then Kolczynski. So she's had a taste of the podium already. This is her 2nd Sunday Race Club, and she's right up there making the action on the front of this category 1 race field. So Kolczynski stretching the legs of the category 1 riders. She's going hard and she's going early. Less than 4 kilometres into this 35 kilometre race. Obviously is a plan of action here and a plan to make it hard early, because what they don't want is indeed a big sprint finish. And that is very often the case on the Passo Alto. Now, the last time the riders were here on the Passo Alto, Fua, Soderstrom, Columbi and Bruni were the first 4 riders. 10 seconds separated the top 4 riders that day. 8 seconds separated the top 6 in category 2. There was a bit of a larger gap in category 3, a minute. So Johnson had rode clear, a great ride from Johnson that day. And then in category 4, 30 seconds separated the top 5. So some close racing historically on the Passo Alto. And our riders will know that. They will know the types of finishes on each of the courses. And that will lead them to think about their race tactics. And the tactics from Kolczynski today in category 1, well, they are to go hard and to go early. Kolczynski is indeed testing the legs of our category 1 riders. 13.6 kilometres into this race, and through the caves go our category 4 leading group. And I'm just taking a little look here to see where we are at, because we had 18 riders in this leading group. I don't think that's 18 riders. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think we might be close to 10 riders in this leading group. In fact, we are. Nikki Lloyd is the rider at the back of this field at the moment. So down to 10 riders in the leading group in category 4. 48-second gap back to 11th place now. So these continued pushes up and over the bridges really playing havoc with this race field. Well, Hamilton, one of our new riders here today, Kristen Hamilton, is in the mix here with this group. Isabella Bryson here too. 2 new riders in this category 4 race, and they are both in this leading group. So fantastic riding so far. Will they stay in this leading group, or will they be here at the bottom of the climb? Can they make it to the top? Only time will tell, but phenomenal riding at the moment. Category 4 at around 14.5 kilometres into this race. Now a leading group of 10. Category 3 at the 12 kilometre mark, 3 kilometres behind. And that is a strong leading group as well. In fact, we've got a strong leading group in category 2 as well. They're at the 9 kilometre mark. And at 5.7 kilometres, it's the category 1 pack. And the action coming from Kolczynski has done some damage. You can see one of the riders now distanced from the group. Kolczynski in the mix at the moment. She's back in the group, and up and over the next bridge, we're seeing a push on the front. In fact, Merle Bruni is the rider pushing hard with Bassoni as well. So Roberta Bassoni, Merle Bruni, 2 riders pushing Gonzalez Rua is there as well as Van Hove, just coming off of that bridge. You can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen a satellite navigation style route, so flat at the moment, and then we've got 2 more small bumps along the way. They might look like small bumps, but they are doing damage to the race field today. As our Category 1 riders go through the Amazonia sprint banner, the green banner indicating the start of the sprint today. The green banner in front of them indicates the end, and we're not seeing any of our Category 1 riders picking up the mantle for that sprint today. In fact, Jacina Menezes, she was doing 0.8 watts per kilo when she went underneath that banner. So a steady roll through with the pack from Category 1. Not quite the same for Musa Al-Mansouri. Phenomenal effort there to set the fastest time. 16 seconds, 16.155, just ahead of Dana Wagner in Category 2. Jermaine Prado as well. Just 3 riders under that 17-second mark. Then Molly Weston from Category 2. Jacina Menezes, our first Category 1 rider, in 5th place. Then back Category 2 because Takanis and Walkenhurst then pick up the next 2 places before we see some of the pack from Category 1. In fact, Mel Bruni, Celine Columbi, Maria Holcroft rounds out the top 10. And then we roll through the rest of the Category 1 and Category 2 race field. In fact, it looks like Natalia Idzik is the fastest Category 3 rider in 28th position. All 4 of our race fields through the first sprint of the day. The second sprint comes quite close, actually, at 8.3 kilometres, so just 2 kilometres further down the road. But Category 3 are a lot further down the road. They're about to go into the caves where we saw previously our Category 4 riders. They're on the right-hand side of the road. They are now out of those tunnels, and Musa Al-Mansouri, she's pushing on. But it's Novelin Kokkonen and Carolina Alzat from Category 3 who are at the front of this pack, and this pack is still a large group of riders. De Silva is there, Johnson is there, Estelle is there, so is Herrera, so is Kokkonen, Hadlock is still here, so is Giraldo. De Silva just flitting on and off at the back at the moment, but we know she's a strong rider. She'll push back into the group very, very shortly. Emma Sonnerson is here as well today, another strong rider in Category 3. Category 1 up and onto the bridge by the waterfall. It's a huge waterfall and it's a thundering noise as they thunder past, and thundering at the moment is Catherine Fua. She's the rider stretching this time. Roberta Bassoni is the one responding. Jacina Menezes is following as well. These riders just fast and furious, one picking up the mantle after the other and continuing to put the power down and to keep the heat in this race. Fua, Bassoni, Gallegos, all in the mix. Columbia is there as well as Soderstrom. Holcroft is there too. Now, Holcroft riding really strongly as well in March, finishing in 5th position in the March final last week in Australia on the Wollongong course. A very, very different type of course to this one today. Now, up and through the Jungle Trek sprint. In fact, take a look at that. It is Category 1 in the top 2 spots. So Kulczynski setting the fastest time through there, 15.191 seconds. In second place, it is Jacina Menezes, just fractions, and I mean fractions of a second back. Musa Al-Mansouri still setting the fastest time and a really strong pace in Category 4. She really is fractions of a second back as well. So is Gina De Gracia in Category 3, Serena Vittori in Category 4, and Amelia Velt in Category 1. In fact, less than half a second separating the top 8 riders there. So phenomenal work from our riders to come through. Very, very similar times amongst our packs. I'm just taking a look back for our first Category 4 rider is indeed Musa Al-Mansouri in 3rd place. So all of our race fields represented in the top 10 through the Jungle Trek sprint. The next sprint along the way won't come until the 15.5 kilometre mark. I know from my screen in front of me that the Category 4 pack are already through that. If you want to follow the live race results as they happen, you can indeed head over to MyWhoosh.com. You can click on the results page, and the live results as we are watching the race right now are indeed on the screen, and you can pick up the information on the sprints as they happen. You can also pick up the information on the climbing segments as well as the overall race when they come across that finish line. You can also head across to mywhoosh.com for more than just race results. If you want to join us on the Sunday Race Club and you really fancy being part and parcel of the start line next week, there's plenty of time in April to qualify for the final. So if you head over to mywhoosh.com, you can click on the events page where you'll find all the information you need about the Sunday Race Club, the technical guide, the rules and regulations, the information on verification and what setup you need to join us, because the Sunday Race Club is of course the premier MyWhoosh weekly race, and our riders all having gone through the process you will read to join us on Sunday Race Club. Now, 118 women on the start sheets today. I think we need to make it closer to 150. I'm wondering, you need to be part and parcel of that. So head over. If you have any questions, you can always get in touch with me. I'm very, very happy to answer any questions anyone's got. My name, of course, is Emma Martin, and you can find me at biking_Emma on Instagram. Just send me a question. The support team at MyWhoosh are also fantastic, and there are also support Facebook groups as well that you can join and ask questions of people who are riding on MyWhoosh or racing on MyWhoosh to answer any of your questions. Well, you need to get down here because the racing is hot and fast, and it is furious because this is Qualifier 1 in April. They are in Colombia on the Paso Alto, 35 kilometers of racing today. And if you are new to the program, you'll notice that our Category 4 riders set off first, 5 minutes in front of Category 3, 5 minutes in front of Category 2, 5 minutes in front of Category 1. So 15 minutes separating Category 4's start to Category 1's start. It does mean that our race fields do catch each other on occasion as the 35-kilometre race progresses. In fact, you can see here our Category 2 race field in green have gone past one of our Category 4 riders in red. You can see that on the bottom left-hand side of your screen at the moment, as our Category 2 race field is in the cave section at the moment. We've got one rider just struggling off the back of this group at the moment. There you go, just squeezing on those pedals and pushing back into the group. But Mabin is here, Yaramillo, Kasani is here, Svardström, Vittori, Penna, Tiffany Penna, one of our new riders from Canada, joining us. Great to have those new riders. Carolus is here, really strong rider. Who has been in the battles all month in March for the win, for the top 5 podium positions. So great to see her in this group as well. Now, the Category 2 race field coming up for 15 kilometres of racing. Category 1, they're coming up for 12 kilometres of racing, so around 3 kilometres or just under 3 kilometres separating these two race fields. Now, Kuczynski is the rider we are in with at the moment in Category 1. This pack looking very, very comfortable at the moment. They're still on the flat section, 12 kilometres into this race. It's very, very flat at the moment where they are as they continue to push. 15 kilometres and they're in the caves for Category 2. Category 3 at 18.1 kilometres. Still a big, strong group there as well. Category 4 at 20.4 kilometres. Well, they are going to be the first group to see the climb. They're going to see the Category 2 climb, the Medellin City climb first. Now, that comes at 21.9 kilometres into this race. So they are not far away now. And these riders in Category 4 have really got to be looking at the competition around them and wondering who is going to be the strongest. So whilst Category 4 wonder who is going to be the strongest on the Medellin City climb, Category 2, they are currently midway through the San Gil sprint. Bit of a push coming on the front, but not a huge pickup in pace at all. This group quite content to roll through, just dropping one rider off the back of the group there. So one rider just not going with the group as it pushes through the sprint segment, but Mabin Yaramillo, Weston Smithers, all in the mix here. So McAlpine is there as well. So is Fardstrom. Miller too, and in fact it's Kimberly Miller is the rider we are in with at the moment, and it's her stats you can see on the top of the screen. Whilst the other groups seem content to ride as a group, it's Elise Gallegos who is pushing on here. The American rider wanting to pick the pace up here in this Category 1 race, just stretching her legs on the front here, just sitting at just under 5 watts per kilo. Fua keeping close attention, so is Bruni and Van Hove. Bassoni is as well, not wanting to let her go. They're about to come into the caves, all as one group. So Gallegos, Soderstrom, Holdcroft, Bassoni, Fua, all in the mix here. Now, interestingly, Tanya Holweiler, one of the riders we saw get dropped earlier on in that Category 2 race, has indeed been passed by this leading group in the Category 1 race. We've also got Category 1 riders sat with Holweiler at the moment off of this leading group. So the Category 1 group starting to whittle itself down. This is the Category 4 group, and they are about to see the polka dot banner indicating the start of this climb. Boy, Musa Al-Mansouri pushed on, and she pushed on hard. She wanted to be the first rider under that banner. Bryson in 2, Bogren in 3, Kirchner in 4, Hamilton in 5. Silvestro is there as well. These riders pushing, and Al-Mansouri setting her stall out early, really wanting to dominate this climb in the Category 4 race. Claudia Hyde is here. Is Hyde going to let Al-Mansouri go? This is going to be really interesting. Alvarez, Nikki Lloyd is here as well. So 10 riders still in this group, getting to the base of the climb together. 10 riders go into the base of this climb, and it's Al-Mansouri who pushes on hard and pushes on fast. Musa Al-Mansouri absolutely adamant she wants the early sections of this climb, and she wants to lead this Category 4 race. Not content with the green skin suit indicating that she's the fastest sprinter in this race field today, she's on a mission for the polka dot skin suit as well. Al-Mansouri, Hyde. I didn't think it was going to be long till we saw Claudia Hyde come towards the front. Isabella Bryson is there as well. So is Bogren. So is Perry. Georgia Perry is here, and we know she is fast as well. So is Silvestro, Kirchner, Lloyd, Hamilton. So interesting to see one or two new riders in the mix here. The other riders won't know potentially what those new riders are capable of. So throwing a little bit of the unknown into the mix today. We always like a little bit of the unknown because it keeps the action fast and it keeps all us wanting the unexpected. Well, the unexpected isn't happening at the moment in Category 1 because this group are all still together. Category 1 coming through the caves now. They are about to come up onto the next sprint section at 15.5 kilometres. This is a San Gil sprint, and it is indeed a Category 4 rider currently leading with the fastest time. So Carla Lenore currently having set the fastest time through here. Rosalina Barragan from Category 3 setting the second fastest time. Category 2 didn't really look as though they contended the sprint at all. In fact, Anna Svardström setting the fastest time in Category 2, and she's in 10th position at the moment. Obviously, these are live times because the Category 1 riders coming through that sprint right now. So Bassoni, Fua, Columbi, Hermansen all in the mix here. Really good to see. These riders pushing on Van Hove here too, but they've not really picked up the pace. It's just the pack rolling through here. So the Sandgill sprint now complete for our Category 1 riders. The last riders to start and leave the start pens today. So it is indeed Carla Lenore who continues to take and will indeed take that top spot in that sprint. So the Sandgill sprint, 23.332 seconds. Barragan in 2, De Gracia in 3, Almansori in 4. Chudekowicz in 5, Fua in 6, the first of our Category 1 riders. Hermansen, Columbi, Bassoni and Bruni rounding out the top 10. So great to see our Category 1, 3 and 4 riders filling out that top 10. Fastest Category 2 rider in 22nd position. Now, one more sprint for our Category 1 riders before they get to the start of the climb. But the Category 3 riders, they are already there. So a large group of Category 3 riders here, and it's Hadlock, Barragan, De Gracia, Alzatz, Herrero and Johnson, all at the front of the group as they head up on to the Medellin City climb. Now, just a reminder, 5.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 5.9%. The steepest section on the Medellin City climb, 9.5% under their wheels. So Category 3 now following Category 4 on to the Medellin City climb. Absolutely essential you are there or thereabouts at the top of this climb, because if you let too big of a gap go, you cannot bring it back. So taking a look at this, Carla Lenore is the rider in danger in Category 4, but she's the rider that the leaders of the Category 1 pack will see. She'll be the first rider they pass on the climb. They've got 16 Category 4 riders in front of them. Lenore, then Kirchner, will be the two riders, the first pack, the leading pack of Category 3 pass. Wow, going past Lenore like she's standing still on this climb. The pace of those Category 3 riders, well, it's because they've attacked each other. They've gone past Lenore, but wow, they are pushing on, because this is the attack. This is the action that is coming in here, because Herrero, Hadlock and Barragan, Alzat and Turkova are all pushing on in this Category 3 race. Let's take a little bit of a look at the action. So whilst we've watched the action on the climb, and we're watching Musa Almansori in Category 4, she's riding away from Bogran, Hyde, Silvestro, Perry, Hamilton, Bryson and Kirchner. There's a big pack chasing Almansori at the moment, and whilst those Category 4 riders have been pushing on up the climb, I have a very wet Matt Payne having run between Studio 1 and Studio 2. It's raining here in France at the moment, but it's not raining on the slopes of the Passo Alto.
I know, I kind of wish I was on there, apart from the fact it's an incredibly tough climb. I've just watched the men's race and the men's
no
finish
spoilers
up there. I have to say, I initially said at the start of that show, because maybe people will fast forward that it wasn't my favourite course because it was flat and nothing happened for the first half of the race. I am now going to find a hat made out of rice paper to eat, because I absolutely got that wrong. It was crazy all the way to the finishes, and they were in one of the categories, 0.001 of a second separated first and second place.
Well, we shall have to watch the footage to find out. And heading through the final sprint here, the Mongpok City sprint before the Medellin City climb, Carla Lenore, she's been setting some great times on these sprints. De Gracia, Almansori, Herrero. Then it's Cat 1, Menezes and Kulczynski. But looking at the times there, it's only really the top 3 riders that were really pushing on the sprint there. The rest of them looking like they rolled through with the pack.
Yeah, big differences in those times as they came in and through. And categories 1, 2, and 3 and 4 on the way up into the big ascent here. But you can see at the moment, category 2 coming in here. Emma, this is it's another big group.
It is a big group. And what we saw in category 4, Matt, was that 10 riders came into the base of the climb together, and then Almansori has attacked. She attacked literally at the polka dot banner, and she's got a 30-second gap on a large chasing group. Category 3, pretty much attacked as well, and the split and the spread of the group has been phenomenal. It's going to be really interesting to see what category 2 do, because this is a huge group.
It's ginormous, and I think it's really interesting the differences when you go between the men's and the women's because of the difference in length of the second and final climb and where the climbs come on the sprint. Yeah. This first climb here in the women's race, it's far more decisive, I think, and you have to be a better climber on steeper terrain,
yes,
I think, in the women's race because it breaks, and we can see that the dot to dot on the screen of the riders in categories 3 and 4. But again, that would indicate to me that it was aggressive from pretty early on.
It has been really aggressive today in the women's race in Colombia. The flat sections that we talked about with the bridges, we expected the attacks to come at the bridges, but they didn't. The attacks came before the bridges started today in this women's race. So registering the fact that there was such a big field of riders, 118 riders on the start sheets today. And, category 1 being the smallest category at 22, but category 4 having 33 riders on the start sheets today.
Really interesting, isn't it? I mean, that's a big race of field. The numbers are huge in there, and great to see that kind of growth. And it is this is actually the start of year 3.
It is
for
indeed.
Us here.
Okay, let's take do some little time traveling, Matt. If you go back 2 years to when you first did the show,
can't remember what I have for breakfast now.
I wasn't going to ask that. For the Sunday Race Club, how many women were there on the start line?
Well, I've got a little bit of insider knowledge actually on this one.
Well, I'd like to think you did have.
But let's put it this way. I would say that it was less than a quarter of those that we had now.
Well, I can tell you exactly how many it is.
Excellent, tell me.
27.
There you go, 27. So 27 women 2 years ago on the very first show that we put words to for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And now it is 118, is it, on the start list, which is great to see. And the quality of the racing is increased. And I think that's one of the things I'm watching the racing here. I mean, we've got a category 1 pack here who are incredibly strong. The same with 2, 3, and 4. And they really, really are moving incredibly quickly here. So I think very, very interesting to see the strength of riders that are coming in.
Oh, I know.
And I mean, I noticed that in that sprint that we had Jessenia Menezes, who's been on here for a little while, but you've got Kristen Kulczynski in here, relatively brand new rider, but somebody running for that 2024 squad who is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, shall we just say Kulczynski made a lot of the early action, Matt, and definitely worth a watch back. If you've been watching the men's race and you're now joining the women's race, welcome. It's great to have you on board. The riders now approaching, our category 1 riders now approaching the bottom of the Medellin City climb. Fua, look at the look of concentration on her face as she's getting ready to spring her attack, because you know what Catherine Fua does.
She climbs like an absolute demon.
She does indeed. Well, the gradient about to go skywards. 9.5% is the steepest gradient on the Medellin City climb. This is the one that Matt says is the important one here. I don't disagree with him today. If you are if you are not with the group at the top, you can only be about 10 seconds further back, because otherwise there's no way you are going to get back on those wheels for the finish.
And I would argue now, with the quality of riders we've got, that it's becoming more and more important. And I think probably you could almost half that now. If you're, or maybe even less, you've got to be within 2 or 3 seconds, and you've got to rely on that group taking it easy, even if you're putting in an immense effort to get on, because before you had more leeway to be further back, and now you just don't have that. And I'm so looking forward to seeing these riders in action on the climb now, and of course at the World Championships that are going to be coming up in October, and in our semi-finals, our finals. Lots more details on there coming out about that and those races. And I mean, you are looking at the world's best. We know that. You know, we follow esports religiously, as well as lots of different cycling disciplines. It doesn't matter whether you're riding on the cobbles of Roubaix, you're out riding a mountain bike, or you are here on the Medellin City climb on esports. We follow it, and they are just such class riders.
Well, I can guarantee that a number of these riders, if not all of these riders in this leading Category 1 pack at the moment, will be at the World Championships later this year.
Well, Roberta Bassoni, I mean, how could you not pick her for the Italian team if you're the National Federation? I mean, she's just absolutely, you know, she's going to climb absolutely brilliantly. It is her forte. Fua, the same for the Swiss. You know, Merle Bruni in there for Germany. How do you not pick these riders when they are so strong week in, week out, and ride the platform so well?
And that's it, isn't it? You know, those viewers with their favourite riders get to watch this world-class women's cycling every Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday. We are here. So are the team behind the scenes. Got to say a massive thank you to them as we go into year number 3. They have to listen to us not just as often as you do, but you know what? They listen to us before and afterwards as well. I think medal should be heading their way, to be honest. But a massive thank you to them for the past 2 years. I'm really looking forward to the next few years. They have been threatening us with putting out some of the outtakes. I've got my fingers crossed they don't do that, because they could be very entertaining for you and very embarrassing for us. However, they probably involve me doing a lot of predictions and getting them wrong.
Well, personally, I would think that would be quite funny. But at the moment, Bassoni, Kulczynski, Bruni, Soderstrom, Columbi and Fua look like they are stretching away from the pack. I count, at my count, 7 riders moving clear in this Category 1 race. Well, 7 riders may be moving clear in Category 1 a little further up the road. The leader on the road at the moment is Musa Al-Mansouri. We saw her attack the group of 10 Category 4 riders who went under the start banner, under that polka dot banner, straight away. The second the gradient went up, Al-Mansouri attacked. And take a look at this. She's got over a minute now on the chase group, and they are indeed a chase group. The group made up of Perry, Hyde, Silvestro, Bryson, Hamilton, Bogren. Kirchner now looking as though she's a little bit further back.
And I think those gaps just starting to open up. Bogren in trouble there. Elin Brodgren from Sweden really starting to have to fight to stay with the group. That's Category 4, right-hand side. They're just coming in and around that tight hairpin bend that goes to 11.5%. Left-hand side of your screen, they're a little bit further down. But Category 3, this is a group, is it 4 riders, or is that 3 with a gap back?
No, that looks to me like that is 3 riders. So Herrero, Barragan and Hadlock. Then it's looking like around a 10-second gap back to Alzat. So 3 riders clear at the moment in Category 3. A small gap back to Alzat, who is the chasing rider at the moment. The rest of the Category 3 pack, Matt, are a long way back, actually. Take a look at that. Johnson, 26 seconds back at the moment. De Silva is with Johnson now. Those two are class riders. The question is, can they work together to bring this group of 3 back? But Angel Ann Hadlock, you can see her on the screen at the moment. She's part and parcel of this leading 3 in Category 3. Oh, the fan is blowing to try and keep her cool, because this is hard work now. She's got to stay with these other 2 riders, with Herrero and Barragan, because this is the leading 3. She needs to be in the mix at the top of this climb.
She's a rider that I've watched on this platform for the last 2 years, pretty much. And I remember her climbing up into the summit of the Jebel Her Feet. She was right up in that mix. Some great battles between her and Kekkonen over the past couple of years. She's a rider who you can't discount. And it looks like she's coming back into form. Regular rider outdoors as well. And great to see our riders doing that. Please do get in touch. Give us a shout. Let us know what you're getting up to. Tell tell us what your how we can get in touch with you on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, however, wherever. It's always great. You can get hold of Emirates at biking_Emma and at Matt Fixer Pain. It's always great to see what you're doing, what you're getting up to, where you've been riding, and what you're doing now. Category 2 here, Emma. They're all over the place. It looks like they just picked the riders up and just sort of threw them halfway down the slopes here.
It's a bit like planting daffodils. You just throw those bulbs and you plant them naturally. Well, our Category 2 riders have thrown the power down, and naturally they are scattered over the hillside.
That is the strangest analogy I think I've heard you say
well,
on the
last
2 years.
All those gardeners out there who plant bulbs will know exactly what I mean. But Jaramillo in the mix here with Kasani, but they are not in the mix at the front of this Category 2 race at the moment because McAlpine, well, she's 13 seconds further up the road, and Alejandro Jaramillo is working really hard to stay in the mix here. She's in the mix with Kasani, and Molly Weston is there as well. Now, these are three strong riders, but they are not in the mix with the group further up the road. McAlpine, Sanchez, Svardstrom, 15, 16 seconds up the road. Embring is there. Manuela is there. This is got to be the leading group in Category 2. I cannot imagine there are riders up the road because this is a seriously strong group. Tiffany Penner is in here. So one of our new riders today, Matt, from Canada.
Yeah, great to see riders coming in from Canada. Be really interested to know which side of Canada, or maybe in the middle, in fact, that Tiffany is from Northern Hemisphere. Really cold weather sweeping across through the winter, and lots of people spending a lot of time indoors. I don't know, Embring, one of those. Good to see Anna from Sweden there. You can just see it's just starting to get dark in Sweden, just out of the window there. But all that focus coming from Anna Embring as she's out of the saddle. She sits back down again as the gradient keeps changing. You can see the effort being replicated by the avatar on your screen. Each of these riders' effort being measured, put through the avatar. The calculations being made for the pace, for the speed. They really are kicking on here. And Category 2 is a ferocious battle at the moment. It certainly looks to me like Embring and Jaramillo. They are going to be fighting this out with Penner. I don't think they're clear yet necessarily of Sanchez, who really is in that mix. And again, another rider who can climb when the going gets tough. Tends to get going now. Category 2, right-hand side of your screen. Category 1, left-hand side of your screen. At the moment, Merle Bruni looking very strong here on this climb. She's tapping out a rhythm, and he's being followed up here by Korchinski, by Columbi, by Fua, by Soderstrom. And it looks like the Bassoni's in there. The Category 2 rider Walkenhurst just being passed, trying to stay with them as long as is possible. Category 1 at the moment just passing the 25-kilometre marker, and that means that they've got about just under 2.5 kilometres to the summit of this, the Medellin climb. They then go into the FRB section, another of Emma's fantastic naming stroke different analogies, but the FRB is the flat rolling bumpy section in between, really critical. If you've got speed, if you've got power, if you've got souplesse, you've got the suppleness, you can really make the most of that, but it's very difficult to do. Riders on the left of the screen, they're a little bit further away than we see Al Mansouri coming up towards the top of the climb. She has this long open right hand bend where the trees start to edge away. There's then a tight left hand turn, and she's going to take herself through the polka dot banner. That polka dot banner that comes at 27.4k, so about 300 meters or so to go for Al Mansouri. Now she's lost a little bit of time at the moment till Silvestri. She's got a little bit of time lost to Perry at the moment, but there's not much time to make that gap back. That is substantial. And at the moment, the way Musa Al Mansouri is climbing here, I would imagine that she should have this. So she's got the green jersey. She should take away the polka dot jersey, but just because of the speed she's put in here. But has she lost too much time on this top section? It is starting to get eaten away. I think she's eased off a little here, but she needs to keep picking it up because you can't give that time away. Underneath the banner she goes. So Al Mansouri goes through, the leader on the road in the green skin suit.
Al-Mansouri doing a phenomenal job at the moment, Matt. But my question is, can she keep this going? Because this is a chase group behind, and it's a really, really strong chase group. So Silvestro, Perry, and Hyde. Well, I think they are going to work together. The question is, will they get back to Al-Mansouri? Can they close it down? You know, there's still 7 kilometres of this race to go.
But you've got rolling ground, you've got a climb. It's fast, so the draft is going to take its effect, and it will help the riders. But they're not a solid group. It's not like 25 riders together. It's in threes, it's in fours. It's the same here in category 3. We've seen threes and fours in this group. You've got Herrero, Hadlock, Barragan leading. Then behind you've got De Silva, you've got Johnson. Now you've got Alza. You know, they're sitting at 30 seconds. That's less gap, but they're in 3 and 3. So that advantage is disappearing. Again, they're coming up towards the top. You can see a big kick coming here. Herrera just goes to wind it up. Now Hadlock goes with her. Barragan goes. No one wants to be distanced out of this group at this stage, and they certainly don't want to drop back to De Silva. Rebecca Johnson climbing well here. The English rider just trying to hold the wheels there of the Brazilian De Silva. They're going to try and close down on Barragan, the rider from the United States of America, who's just on the heels of there. Hadlock looking strong here, really, really pushing on.
Yeah, Hadlock pushing on really strongly here. She knows she has to keep the pace going through the flat rolling bumpy section because she knows, you know, Johnson behind really can close this down, particularly if she's got help 20 seconds back. The pace needs to stay on. They cannot sit up.
They can't now. Really interesting. 20 minutes, 25 seconds for Herrera. The time for Al-Mansouri, 22 minutes 09 on that climb. And that shows you the difference between category 3 and category 4. 2 minutes, basically, separating the fastest rider in category 4 from category 3. So it gives you an indication of that time gap. Remember, all of the screenshots as well as the results on the MyWhoosh.com website are live at the moment. At the end of the race, they will become unofficial until all of those results are verified by the system that begins before the racing starts and finishes after the racing is complete and the riders' performances have been checked and verified. Remember, of course, our riders can be asked to go and ride in person at the HQ in Masdar City down in Abu Dhabi, and we've seen riders do that and set some amazing numbers because the specialism and the quality of riding by our riders, it just shows it going from strength to strength.
Yeah, absolutely. And Al-Mansouri continuing to push on, continuing to lead at the moment. The chase is on. Now, let's remember, Matt, that the category 3 riders, well, they've worked their way up into 6th, 7th and 8th position on the road. So they will indeed be coming up onto the chase group in category 4. I'm not sure whether that is going to have much influence on the outcome of the category 4 race, but we will have to wait and see. So category 1 now on slopes at the moment. They're at 26.9 kilometres at the moment on this climb. The climb finishing at 27.4, so just 450 metres to go now for our category 1 leaders. Category 2, 3 and 4 are all on the flat rolling bumpy section. This is looking like it may well all come together.
I can't wait, and I'm rather glad you're calling the finishes. It was manic in the men's. It's going to be even more manic in the women's. Now, category 4 leader is on that long bridge, on that suspension bridge that goes across. You can just see Al-Mansouri in the green skin suit there, going underneath the green banner on the descent at the moment, looking really good. It is just that downhill. It gives you that little bit of a breather, and it's the ability to power through those sections rather than ease off that can make the difference. Al-Mansouri on her own gets no assistance. You can see her watts will continually be in white, which means that she's in the wind. White watts equals wind.
It does indeed, and green watts equals draft, which is the word of the day.
Yes, green is good.
Yes, green is definitely good, whether you are drafting on MyWhoosh or indeed riding a little bit of cyclocross.
Yes, a very different discipline.
Yes, but green still has relevance.
And I'll tell you something. It's very there are some transferable skills as well. Not the ability to jump on and off the bike, but the ability to accelerate hard and respond to other people's riding and attacks. And that ability to be able to respond to other riders. You can't just ride this like a time trial with no drafts, with no conception of when to save energy, because I think all category racing is just too hard. I mean, look at that. The time's coming up there. Embring going over the top, 17
Look at the
minutes
pace.
and 4. I mean, we were talking 20 minutes and 22 minutes
We
for
were.
3 and 4.
Look at the
17 minutes and 14:28 for Kristen Kolczynski, who were basically 1 second down on there, and Bruni as well as Colombi all in the just 1 second, but look at
Soderstrom
that.
and Bassoni losing 30 seconds and 47 seconds respectively there. Absolutely amazing. So 4 riders clear in that category 1 race. Embring and Manuela and Penna. Now, Penna, of course, finishing 4th in the Canadian Esports Championships recently.
Right.
So a rider on form.
Yep. 4th place, and I'm sure she would have loved to be in that top 3, but Canada, very, very strong esports riders in that nation. Be interested to see again how they go when we go to the semi-finals and the finals. The nation selecting their riders for the World Championships. Be interesting to see who goes, who stays home, who's qualifying via the MyWhoosh community. And don't forget, of course, if you're going to be racing in that, going to be absolutely key to get this platform nailed, which means that you need to be riding this regularly. You need to know where the ups are, the downs are, where to push, where to ease, and just what that course profile looks like and how it responds. So I think probably time to take a look in a little bit more detail at the final climb section as our riders make the way through the yellow section in between the first climb. That's a Medellin climb. We then have that flat, rolling, bumpy yellow section. We go through the Amazon rainforest sprint, and then we are on to the final climb, the Bogota climb. Now, this is a very much a fluctuating climb in terms of gradient. You've got a long, flat, if not slightly downhill section in the middle. And then the finish is tricky, not because you've got anything like hurdles like cyclocross, but you've got that. What you have is you have a very twisting, turning finish, which means that you don't see that finish until late on that left-hand
turn. And the steeper section is towards the finish on this climb in this women's race. When it comes, that finish line comes at the 35-kilometre mark. It does kick to around 5% there. So, it is a really interesting climb, but has also led to some interesting finishes.
It has, and I think that is going to be one of the things for me. If you can get this right, it's going to make all of the difference in terms of pace, in terms of positioning. You need to get that nailed, and then you have to kick at the right time on this finish to come round. It's a tight right, long sweeping left, and then you just see the finish. And if you don't kick early enough, you're just going to get caught out. Kick too late, you're going to be in trouble because you're just not going to make it back to the people who get it right. So 4 categories on screen. Emma, the riding so far to the flat rolling bumpy section onto the climb has determined who's in contention. It's not selected a winner with the exception, really, of Category 4 with Al Mansouri. She's still got to hold it to that finish.
She does still have to hold it to the finish. And at the moment, Al Mansouri, she is clear, but it's sitting at around 35 to 40 seconds. Category 3 are soon going to play a part because this is the leaders in the Category 3 race, even though only one of them is in a blue jersey, because you've got the polka dot skin suit on Herrera. You've got the green skin suit on Barragan. Hadlock is in blue, but these 3 riders are leading the Category 3 race. They have 4 riders ahead of them, and they are the top 4 in the Category 4 race. So Perry is the rider that these 3 Category 3 leaders are about to pick up. She's 9 seconds back on Silvestro and Hyde. They are the 2 chasers behind Al Mansouri, who is around 35 seconds further up the road. So the question now is, Matt, will these Category 4 riders try and jump on the back of the Category 3 leaders and take it?
Well, really unfortunate place there for Perry to get caught because it was on the steeper section. Had she been caught another 200 metres further on where it levels off, she would have been able to jump in and use the toe. It wouldn't have been about pure power to weight ratio and climbing ability. It would have been about kicking into that group and then using it at the right time. Where you are caught on this, if you are a rider in a lower category being caught by a higher category rider, that's so critical, and it's worth pushing to take yourself into those flatter sections when you get caught. Obviously it's not always possible, but if you can really, really use. I mean, this express train of Category 1 riders here, Kolchinsky, Fua, Bruni, they're absolutely flying. I mean, Colombian
They
here,
are.
she could be in there. We're talking 35 kilometers an hour at the moment. That is serious drafting if you stay in the right place. And it's very difficult to pick a winner from all four, because all four are winners. They are all proven winners, and they are all riders who have that killer instinct.
They are indeed all winners in that Category 1 race field, and this group of Category 4 riders now in the mix with the leaders in the Category 3 race. There are 32.4 kilometres into this race. That is 300 metres behind Al Mansouri, who is currently the leader on the road and currently the leader in the Category 4 race, but it's Hadlock who has pushed on. So Hadlock pushing on Silvestro, the Category 4 rider, desperately trying to stay with her because Herrero is there and Hyde is on the wheel. So the Category 4 riders desperately trying to stay in. That's Silvestro and Hyde. Perry could not stay with them, but Barragan, Herrero and Hadlock are fighting it out for the top spot in Category 3.
Well, really interesting battle there. Category 3 and 4 fighting it out. And that is going to speed them up. I think this group together are going to benefit from that. You can see on both radar screens, on the bottom left of both our screens there, the race leader coming into the left-hand bend. The chasing pack are not far behind, and that gap is coming down. It's coming down substantially, in part because of the speed of this climb. You can see that Al Mansouri currently at 24k an hour. We're seeing around about 28 to 32k an hour coming from the chasing group on similar terrain, and I think that could well do some serious damage to Al Mansouri. And is that long-term leader going to come back?
Well, she needed to push on, and she knew she needed to push on at the start of the climbing. She needed to give herself as much room as possible, and then she needed just to try and hold it, because she knew that Category 3 leaders were going to come through and pick up on the final climb today. Has she given herself enough of a gap, and can she hold this to the finish? Will Al Mansouri come over the line first in the Category 4 race, or are the chasers Hyde and Perry and Silvestro going to make the catch?
I hate to be the harbinger of doom, but I think they will.
Well,
I hate to say it. Come on, Musa. Come on. I'm with you. You need to keep pushing. Come on.
100 metres to find out in this race as Herrera pushes on the left-hand side of the screen. She's now starting to put seconds into Hadlock and Barragan, her Category 3 compatriot. She's wearing the polka dot skin suit, signifying she was the fastest climber in Category 3 up the earlier Medellin City climb. Is she going to make this? I tell you what, she's getting very, very close to Al Mansouri. She's going to have her in her sights soon, and the motivation once you've got someone in your sights to catch them, Matt, only increases.
It does, and she's going to be able to take advantage of a little bit of draft coming through. She's got 1 second on Hadlock, 2 seconds on Barragan. It's opening up here. Herrero needs to keep pushing here now. As you said, Emma, we are coming in with 33.8k. That little diminutive figure in the distance, weaving underneath through the shadows here. That dappled shade really showing. You can just see Al Mansouri is coming into sight at the moment. However, Herrera is coming up close behind. Hadlock, I think, is just too far behind here. At what is going to be about 4 seconds behind Herrera, and it's increasing at the moment. Now, the polka dot banner, quick reminder, is not at the end of the race. The polka dot banner comes in with 500 meters to go. And it's not far off that we see the catch made. Al Mansouri has company. Rosa Herrero has come up to her. Musa Al Mansouri has 2 sets of skin suits, both the green and the polka dot, but it's the polka dot skin suit of Herrera who is going to go up here, and I think she's going to add the fastest time up the second climb of the day to her fastest time on the first climb of the day in Category 3, ahead of Barragan, who has Hadlock behind her now.
Yeah, so Barragan and Hadlock are now behind Herrera. They are fighting out for second place at the moment. It's 6 seconds the lead that Herrera has on her compatriots in Category 3. Al Mansouri now behind, but I think Al Mansouri is going to hold this. She's got 35 seconds back to Hyde and then 40 seconds back to Silvestro. The next catch I think that's going to be made, well, I think we're going to see Category 2 come into the mix as well.
And you can just see them at the bottom of your screen, Manuela as well as Embry, as well as Penna coming up really, really strong. That's a reasonably big group. They're coming fast. Will it be fast enough? Left-hand turn across this bridge, tight right-hand turn, and then round that sweeping left-hand bend. Rosa Herrera here in Category 4 is opening this up. She should have enough to stay clear of Barragan. At the moment, they are clear of Hadlock. That should be your 1, 2, 3. But if somebody blows now, it's all going to evaporate. Al Mansouri, I think, is going to make the most of the gap. But between Al Mansouri and the chasers come the Category 2 train. Svartstrom, Manuela, it's going to be Penna, Embring. They're on the way. This is going to be close. This is the right-hand bend. We are at 200 meters to go. She's going to see that banner very shortly, but it's tucked around that left-hand bend.
Yeah, it is indeed. So Herrera sweeps round the right. She's still got the left to do before she sees the finish line. The riders behind her coming thick and fast because Barragan has already kicked. She's got 4 seconds. So Herrera has 4 seconds at the moment on Barragan. Herrera continues to push. She digs deep. So digging deep is Rosa Herrera. She's going to take the win in Category 3. Barragan and Hadlock, her two compatriots, are going to be fighting it out for second and third. So Barragan comes through in second place. Hadlock comes through in third. The next riders we're going to see come in is going to be the Category 2 riders, and Anna Embring is pushing on here. So Embring takes Category 2 from Manuela, from Svartstrom, from Penna. Then Al Mansouri is going to come in, but she's been overtaken by Fua in Category 1. So Fua wins Category 1. Al Mansouri, Category 4. Bruni, Columbi, and Kolchinsky fighting it out behind. Fast and furious, those finishes came.
Well, what an incredible finish there in Category 3. Herrera taking that. We saw Al Mansouri taking the win in Category 4. Embring, Manuela, Svartstrom and Penna in Category 2. Fua, Bruni, Columbi, Kolchinsky. They came up. They were so quick on that final climb there. The 4 riders staying clear there. Fua taking the win, taking top spot from Bruni, from Columbi, and then Kolchinsky. Wow. A cracking race finish.
Absolutely cracking. And all 4 of our race winners coming over the line within fractions of a second each other, Matt.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It's great to make it back across here for the end of the women's race. Please remember, next week, quick reminder, we will be returning to our standard race times. Please join myself and Emma there for that. We'll be getting up really early again.
We will. So switching times, you made her check your clock, set your alarms, and remember next week to join us at a different time. It's been great to be with you today. You can follow me at Biking. Emma, where can we follow you, Matt?
It's at Matt Fix a Pain. Don't follow me on a bike. It's dangerous.
You can obviously follow at MyWhoosh on all social media platforms and head over to mywhoosh.com to join the fun, get on a ride, join the Sunday Race Club, and be on the start line in the future. Well, all that leaves me to do is thank the team behind the scenes, because without them, we couldn't be bringing you the show. Until next week, stay safe. Enjoy your riding. Ramadan Mubarak.